your power. Go and show the world who you are. Go and show yourself your highest love.
Check one, check two.
Mic check.
How we feeling today, Greenville?
Woo! What's going on, everybody? How we doing? All right. So I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Elijah Jarvis. I go by 100k.steez on Instagram, and I am an aspiring entrepreneur, day trader, and success efficiency coach. So when it boils down to it, I just love to inspire, impact people to do better where they are with what they have.
And my name is Summer Foggy. My bad, y'all. My name is Summer Foggy. Most people know me as Summer Not Spring on social media. I'm a businesswoman. I have a business in jewelry called Shop Verona. I'm back there in the corner if y'all want to go check me out and shop. But just a brief story behind my business. I'm gonna just be real brief with it. Verano is just summer in Spanish. I just put the A on the end to make it a little spicy, you know. But one of my main goals is to just grow my business, expand, give back to my community more, and also just inspire others in a positive way. But enough about us, y'all. I want to get into the book you have out, Keys. It's called Paradigm Keys. I know it talks about solution-based mind reprogramming, and I feel like a lot of people struggle because they want to change their life, they want to build their legacy, but they don't know really how to get there. What are some things a person or some steps a person can take to go on that journey of getting out of their bad habits and just creating a legacy for themselves so they can reach their highest self?
That's a good question. I think number one, it's about the W's, you know, the why, right? Your why becomes your compass that keeps you on track every time you get lost.
Right.
Every time you want to quit, every time you want to give up, every time things feel hard, you feel stressed, your why is your reminder of like, nah, this is what we're doing this for, right? This is the process, right? And then also understanding who you are, right? Having self-awareness, right? For me, I have to remind myself who I am all the time. Right? If I go through something like, nah, but you know who you are, you know what you built for, you know what you come from, right? And that self-awareness, that self-knowledge, right, means you can't be lost, you can't be tricked out your position, you can't be tricked and manipulated because you know who you are, right? And then understanding where you are, right? And not only where, but when, right? And you can't give somebody directions unless they know where they are. Right? You can't put it in a GPS location unknown, take me to this place. It's like, all right, but where do I start from? Right? And so most people don't know where they are. And so some people at the stages where they're in the experimental stage and you're producing and building a vision, right? And you're coming up with this vision, and this vision impregnates the mind. And then after that, it gives you a journey to go on to bring that into fruition. But after you get that vision, you start to develop yourself to become the person that can produce the vision into reality, right? Because the person that comes up with the vision might not have the skills, might not have the habits, might not have the network or the resources to their availability to produce that vision in reality. So some people in the vision phase, you know, I'm just testing reality till I get pregnant. There's some people in the development stage, right? I'm building myself up to bring that vision out. Right? And then some people in the building stage. I have what I need, now I gotta put in that work every day and nothing gonna stop me. Right? So understanding those W's, that who, that what, that when, that where, that's a way for you to have an ability to know where to go and what to do. And knowing where you are, not where, but when you are is very important as well. Right? Because we are in 2023 and sometimes we operate, right? We operate in this old place, utilizing old methods, right? Not updating our resources, not updating our technology, not understanding the times that we're in. We're in a transition phase. We're in the greatest technological shift of any time in the history of the planet Earth. We're in this phase where human beings don't really know who they are, right? We're in so many different phases. A brother before was talking about cryptocurrency. We're in the middle of currency wars and spiritual wars. You have to understand when you are to know how to operate within that time.
Wow. Wow. Man, that was a word, man. That really made a lot more sense. Now, I know you spoke about habits. I think that's a big one for me, and I guess for a lot of people out here too. So I guess the question would be like, what's the importance of the habits? Like, what's the importance of the small little things that you're doing day to day, and how does that impact where you're trying to go, like you said?
No, habits is everything. You know, your habits travel with you. You know, people don't realize, like, when you go from one place to another, you pack your bags, but you also pack your habits with you, right? So no matter where you go, how far you go from home, you can go from here to Africa. Your habits will follow you. They are on a plane with you, whether you're in first class or you're in coach. So your habits are very important because they build who you are, right? And what you're going to do. If the FBI wants to track you, they're going to study your habits. Right? Because whether you want to or not, it's very hard to break those chain of habits because most people don't have any mastery over self, right? So I always say that, you know, you can have skinny goals, but if you have fat habits, nothing changes, right? Yeah. You can have rich goals, but if you have poor habits, nothing changes, right? You can want to be married, but if you have single habits, nothing changes. Or hoe habits, it just depends. So you changing those habits first looks like fasting, right? Okay. So you have to separate yourself because sometimes we have sick habits. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan once said, he was talking to this journalist in Miami, I believe it was in the 70s, and she was asking him, how come we couldn't go inside your mosque or your temple? And they couldn't go in there and film and things of that nature. And he was like, well, you know, they don't let cameras and they don't let too many people in a hospital or in a psych ward. And she was like, are you equating, you know, your temple or your mosque to psych wards? He said, well, the thing is that our people are sick, right? And when someone is sick, they have to be warded off from the rest of society, right? So that they can get well. And oftentimes the very environment that they're separating from is the environment that caused the condition of their sickness, that produced the habits of their sickness, right? And so we have to separate. We have to fast so that we can get out of those conditions and get better. And so if we want to change our habits, for me, it first looks like fasting, right? Taking a step back, because in those moments, in that activity of fasting, we start to strengthen our willpower. We start to clear the mind. So now you could be fasting from sugar, but now you may want to abstain from sex. You may want to abstain from liquor because you're like, why am I doing one good thing for myself and not clearing out the other good things? That's like cleaning one side of the house, but then say, I'm going to leave the rest of it.
Exactly.
Once you start cleaning, you want to clean out the whole house.
Right, right. And I want to piggyback off of that because I can definitely attest to fasting. When I fast, I feel so liberated and I feel very powerful. And I know you did like an interview, I think it was like 2 months ago, but you basically talked about how, you know, our intuition is strong, but if your gut is messed up, you know, you got a bad gut.
Don't follow that gut.
Don't follow that gut. You know, what you put inside of your body is very important. You know, and I feel like a lot of people, they complain about, oh, I feel like this, or oh, I feel like that, I can't get this and that done, but it's because of what they're putting inside of their bodies. Like, take accountability, you know?
Yeah, that's a word right there. I think also just, yeah, it's just a lot. It's making so much sense. But yeah, the health, like, I would love for you to speak about health just from your perspective again, just like the relationship between health and success, because I feel like a lot of people overlook it. It's not even secondary. It's like, I'll get to it. Or, you know, I want to build this business. I want to, you know, I'll do this and then maybe I'll eat better later. So it's like, how do we create, like, mess up that disconnect? Because it just doesn't make sense. Like the health and the wealth, I feel like they're roommates, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think because we come from situations of turmoil and trauma, right?
Definitely.
And when you come from these situations of turmoil of trauma, you're not used to peace. And when you're not used to peace, you know, what you consider to be boredom is peace. But when we come from these chaotic environments, we need to be stimulated, right? Instead of relaxing in the peace, right? In this moment where I got nothing to do, I'm going to eat, right? Wow. In this moment where I got nothing to do, let me just watch TV, right? We're constantly chasing stimuli. right? Because we don't come from environments where there's balance. So it's a trauma response, right? And then when we're stuck in trauma mode, we're in survival mode. Survival mode doesn't think far in the future, right? I need to get through now because the threat is pending right now, right? I'm starving, I gotta eat. You is not about to die. You know what I'm saying? But we always say that, people that got those habits, man, I'm dying right now. No, you're not. You know, you're supposed to have control. Your body not supposed to control you. Your mind supposed to control the body.
Right.
Right? But when we allow our bodies to control the mind, if our bodies is in this habitual state of craving sugar, right? Anytime it does, we go do what? Eat sugar. Right? And so when you learn to start going through the traumas within yourself, it's the same thing that a person doesn't need to constantly procrastinate. You learn to be relaxed and in peace. I'm in the state of rest and joy. The foods your food don't always have to be the most entertaining, like it doesn't have to be an experience. You can eat so that it does the right thing for your body, like give you energy, right? Sometimes you have to think about even eating food that matches your goals, right? A person that's in college, right, should not eat an abundance of sugar, or children in school, you should be taking in blueberries. That matches your goals. Berries, why? Because it's gonna stimulate and feed the brain. Right? You should be taking functional mushrooms like we got over at that table in the corner. You know.
Go water. Y'all go check it out. Go water.
It's going to stimulate you. But I mean that same thing as a trained athlete. They're going to eat towards their goals. Right? A boxer going to eat towards their goals. But the rest of society is not taught that. Right? You know damn well if you see a boxer eating, donuts right before his match, he probably gonna lose.
Exactly.
Right? Because you know he ain't eating towards that goal, and you would shame him for doing that. Like, you ain't taking this serious. But you got somebody that want to be rich, right? And they're doing things to destroy their mind so they can't be focused. You're not eating towards your goals.
Exactly.
So I believe that when you serious about where you want to be in life, then you would change everything in your life to get there.
Definitely.
Wow.
Yes, most definitely. People kill me when they be like, I don't eat
Y'all
broccoli.
can clap, it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
Okay.
Y'all got a word there. Come on.
Show a little love.
Warm us up a little bit, please.
You can make that a habit.
Yeah,
Right.
we definitely can.
No, but people kill me when they be like, I don't eat broccoli. Like I just can't eat it. Like it's nasty.
Like
But
you
when-
said, yeah, I feel like you said, it's an entertainment. Oh man, it don't stimulate me. Like
Yeah,
it's
but-
not part of the goal.
Exactly, but when you get into those good habits, basically you have to force yourself to do that. And once you get to that point where you're consistently taking things in that are giving you real nutrients and help building up the cells in your body, then your body will start,
Yeah,
what's
I
the
feel you.
word? Craving the good things.
You also have to align what's good for you as tasting good, right? So
Right.
it's like, it's a difference between, you can eat, if you drink poison and it tastes good, right? That doesn't matter. But if it could be something that's completely good for you, but it's bitter, right? So that means that it's better for you. Dr. Sebi talked about that, the bitter, the better, right? And a lot of those things that, when they started to look at the food industry in America, they started putting sugar in everything, right? Because this is the way that they can mask the taste, the natural taste, right, of what they were selling. And they realized the more sugar they put in, the more addicted you become to your foods, right? So people are addicted to their foods. Sugar is the #1 drug in the world, right? Sugar and coffee, right? And so the thing about it is that people are eating because they're addicted, not because they're hungry.
Right, and I seen an interview as well. You talked about that, I believe, back in the day, Coke, like the actual drink. Coca-Cola used to be cocaine or had cocaine in it.
Yeah, Dr. Pemberton, he was the scientist that came up with that, and he died from, drugs himself because he was addicted to, I believe, what was it, opium or one of those drugs. But, it comes from, of course, the coca leaves. To this day, Coca-Cola is the #1 distributor or importer of coca leaves, right? Because they have contracts that go back 100 plus years, and at the beginning, they would put the cocaine directly in there, right? Wow. Then he was able to fix up the, ingredients in a concoction where they no longer needed to do that, but they still put in the coca leaf, right? That's the part of Coca-Cola, right? And so, they just figured that they could use sugar instead of using cocaine, right? And so instead of putting one white substance, they've used another white substance, and it worked just fine.
Just as good, yeah. Wow, that's
People was just walking around high, huh?
Oh, shit, to this day. To this day.
Crazy.
man. That's
Somebody in here high right now.
All right, so honestly, let's talk about this gold water. Let's talk about this gold water,
Yeah.
man. I definitely want to know a little bit more about it, the compounds, the benefits, like what's that about, you know what I mean? So I'd love to just explain everything about that.
So I first started doing studies on like nootropics and minerals because just as we talking about, right, I wanted a clear mind, right? I used to get brain fog a lot, and I used to just feel like I used to study a lot and research, but I didn't feel like I had access to all the information in my head. So I started to studying up on nootropics and things that can be cognitive enhancers, right? And I came across gold water, right? And gold water had a lot of, and not just gold water, but colloidal gold itself, right? And it was first used by the ancient Egyptians, right? So the ancient Egyptians would use it in a powder form. So in a powder form, they would break it down through this process of literally taking gold, and they had a way of breaking it down, and then they would ingest the powder. Now, gold is, of course, a natural element that we all have in our body. We have 0.002% of gold within our body. Now, the ancient Egyptians knew that gold is the only element that doesn't rust, so they considered it an immortal element. And so they believed that those same traits of immortality that gold had, if they ingested it, they would take those same traits as well, right? And so they would use it as an elixir of beauty. They would use it as an elixir of immortality. And what it does is the gold, and you have to take it over time, but it increases the electricity in the body because gold is a superconductor of electricity, right? So, electrifying the nerve endings within our body because we are mostly water and we are electrical bodies, right? So that's what happens in the brain when a person can't think of something. Those synapses not firing. That electricity is literally not going from one place to the other, so you can't capture that thought. Right, so you have to be electrified. So we hear many people that say, increase hand-eye coordination. It increases lucid dreaming, where you realize you're dreaming and things of that nature. It increases energy and so many other different great testimonies. And this is why I tell people, the gold not supposed to work for you. You're supposed to work for the gold. And I mean that in the sense, the more clean your body is, the greater effect it's going to be. Right, because those gold particles need to absorb within your body to do its work. So taking it over time is great. I take it early in the morning or at night so I get a deeper sleep where I have more energy throughout the day. And we do that with functional mushrooms. We have the gold powder in that. We have the sea moss right here is a very pure sea moss. But then in this one we have the cordyceps. Cordyceps is a mushroom that increases, your workout performance. So it's going to decrease the time for recovery. And it has ATP in there, adenosine triphosphate, which increases your blood flow and oxygen that's delivered to your lungs while you work out. So therefore, you won't be as tired and you will have more energy. So all of these things that we've studied, and we got coffees, we got gummies coming out and a lot of different things. But, you're going to see, I know there was a lady talking about, microdosing joy, but, there's people who microdose psilocybin for the joy. Right? Yeah. And people who microdose or take doses of functional mushrooms, and they're becoming a huge industry right now, right? Past weed, because this new weed like crack. Yeah. Back in the day, I feel like one of them OGs back in my day when I was smoking, it was that Reggie weed. It ain't get you this high. Right. This new high be different. Y'all be high for 3 days.
Another planet.
You know what I'm saying? So if I feel like if I had a weed company, I only sell Reggie weed. You're not getting no good weed from me. Only regular stuff.
That's tough.
I wouldn't know nothing about that, but yeah. But no, that makes a lot of sense. I know y'all heard you have to eat healthy or be healthy in order for it to work effectively, right? I feel like a lot of people, they get these different vitamins or things that they want to help build up their immune system or, digest better cells, but they're not really taking care of their body while they're taking those substances. So,
and it's the consistency.
Right.
The consistency with anything is what makes it work. A person gets one little jolt of energy and they think that's enough to last them weeks. Right. You have to continue to take that substance. You can have a lifestyle that kills you or you can have a lifestyle that heals you. right? Sickness is a habit, right? Just like health is a habit, right? So if you're constantly sick, it's because you have the habits of sickness. You're constantly eating and maintaining that sickness, right? So if you feel great, it's because you're constantly doing things that provide energy and nutrients and vitamins that's building up the body. So people don't realize everybody has habits. Everybody has a certain diet. It's just some are good for you and some are bad for you. And so when you start swapping out the things that's bad for you for the things that's good for you, now you start to see consistency in different areas.
Wow, that's good. That's real good.
Most definitely.
I think we can tap into maybe like relationships. I know, Summer, you had something for relationships. I'll let you take that.
Yeah, I just want to transform the health onto that, because I feel like when you take care of yourself, you'll attract people that take care of themselves, you know, love themselves and take good things. But with us being young entrepreneurs, you know, trying to build a legacy for ourselves and create generational wealth, I don't even know how to ask this for real. What type of people should we be looking for? Should we be looking for anybody, or should we just expect to attract the right person for us while we're doing these things? Because we're not the normal, you know, 25, 26-year-old out here. We think way different than our generation out. You know, it's a lot of crazy.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's a little funky out here, I ain't gonna lie. And we, you know, but yeah, if you understand that question.
Oh, no, I understand. It's bad out here, I ain't gonna lie.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all ain't got no hope. It's over.
Man.
Just be abstinent for the rest of your life.
Dang.
I thought about it.
I'm just playing. Now, it is bad out here. That wasn't a joke.
For real.
You know, one thing, and this is for both of you all and for everybody, is there's a generation on the women's side that want to be princesses and Barbies, right? And there's a generation of young males that are boys that don't want to become men, right? And they're princes, but they never gonna become kings, right? You consider yourself a queen, I'm sure you consider yourself a king. That means you need a king, that means you need a queen.
Right.
But what you often go find is a prince and a princess,
Gotcha.
right? And there's a difference between this princess mentality and a queen mentality.
Right.
A queen is somebody who gonna help you build. A queen is somebody who's your second in command. Right there, that's your consultant, that's your eyes. Why? Because she has equity within the kingdom, right? So therefore, she's helping you right alongside of you, right? Making sure that you're nurtured and you keeping her covered by hopping your duties and you handle your duties. But a princess is somebody who don't really want the duties, but they want the rewards, right? Yeah. So they want to be taken care of. And if you're a king and you got a lady that's a princess, that's a daughter, right?
Right.
That's not a wife,
Right.
right? And so sometimes because you may utilize your financial gain and your position where you can say, well, I treat you like a daughter, tell you what to do, so I don't have the headache of you over implying things on me, then you will sacrifice that.
Yeah.
But a king needs somebody that's there to give them gentle challenge, that can be their third eye, that can guide them along that journey. But oftentimes these young men don't want to be men. Young males don't want to be men, and it requires a man to step in that position to handle a queen, right?
Yep.
Which is different. So ladies may come across young princes, and oftentimes you see in the movie the prince never wants to be king because he don't want that responsibility. He don't want that. He just wants to be in love and doing frivolous things and just enjoying his arts, idolizing his potential, fantasizing it, but never actually living in it, right? And so, you know, you have to find somebody who matches the energy that you have, that can complement in cooperation and partnership, that when you sit down and tell them what your vision and your values are and what you believe who God is and what you think that your family should be, because everybody got these new rules, new traditions, and new all kind of crap, and they think that everybody's supposed to go along with that. And it's not so. If that's the case, find somebody who believes that. But the reason you can't find nobody, because ain't nobody really believe that shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So what we supposed to do?
Yeah, y'all go ahead and clap. Y'all go ahead and clap for that. That's real.
But that's why I say it's hard out here. You know, you gotta, like I said, you know, there's terms about being forever boy and forever girls. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta, oftentimes for a young lady, she has to go through some sort of pain to break her out that bubble to where she's like, oh, I gotta live in the real world, right?
Yeah, I heard that.
And it's the same thing for young men, right? You have to go through something that breaks that bubble that you had, and usually, you know, cultures would set this up called rites of passage. So you going from your mother's and your father's household, this artificial womb that take care of you, to now you're ready to go into the real world.
Yeah.
So they would take you through conditions that make you feel psychologically whole, that you are now prepared to go eat and hunt and manage yourself out in the world. But we don't have those same rites of passage and rituals, and now people are in the world, but they never want to grow up. They want to be Barbies.
Yeah.
It goes from Nicki Minaj to Ice Spice.
Yeah.
But in the fantasy industries, they know how to sell these images of fantasy to you.
Absolutely.
Right? And so this is why rappers look like they teenagers, because they never want to grow up. And I ain't saying you got to put on some suit or something like that, but it's the assumption and your maturity of your power and where you are. The reason Jay-Z is able to exist with a comfortable level of success is because he matures his music, right? And a lot of people don't know how to gracefully grow, right? And so you have to find somebody who's actually on your level and somebody who is peaking and going to their potential. And the issue what we have is we always looking for people that's living in their purpose, and that's fine. And that's step number one. That's supposed to be normal.
Right.
But what about maximizing the potential of your purpose, right? Because you could be mediocre in your purpose.
Yeah.
Right? And right now we have a society of a lot of people who are completely mediocre. Even when they find their purpose, they don't master it to maximize it because they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? And so a lot of people are comfort corrupt. So I don't want nobody that's comfortable. If you go be around me, you gotta want greatness.
Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, stay in your circles of mediocre and date mediocre people, but stay away from the great ones.
Yeah.
Definitely, yes.
That's good. Grow in grace. Grow in grace. That's what I got. I would love to segue this to in relationships wise, business relationships, like understanding the importance of that. Like, what do we need to do to grow as so I'm looking at Greenville as a rapid growing city. We got entrepreneurs popping up left and right. We got people that they're just very talented. And I feel like as an entrepreneur, you get in this space and you kind of get in your own bubble. You're like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do my own thing, whatever. So my question really is like, how do we kind of come together and how do we build relationships in a professional, positive way to increase our impact and grow our city the way they want to grow it?
Right.
That's a great question. You know, the relationships are the most important in life, right? Your network is the most important thing, you know, and I've had bad relationships and bad partnerships, and you have to go through those in order to learn the wisdom of what to do right in the next one, right? And one of the things, especially when you're talking about creating close partnerships, is you have to make sure that people are aligned when it comes to the vision and the values. Your core values specifically, right? Like, we always talk about race, but ethnicity to me is more important.
Okay.
Your ethnicity of people who share those same values, right? Who are in proximity, who believe in the same thing, same mission, same ideas essentially, right? But you are black, but I don't know what your core values are.
Right.
Right? So I'm not going to partner with you off the merit of your race.
Right.
It has to be off the merit of your values. Then I have to look at people who have value that I don't have. Right? For me, on my team, I got my brother Mechi here. Usually I got my brother Blue Pill over there. When I'm partnering with people, it's because they can do things that I can't do. Right? When you're talking about a team, you got to have somebody that is the visionary. You got to have somebody that's the organizer. You got to have somebody that's the networker, and you got to have somebody that's the executor, right? If you can find those components in your team, now you have everything you need to move forward, right? So I've been able to create great relationships with people because we come together based on mutual values and mutual value, right? So I work with EYL. We sit down and say, okay, if we work together, we can do something that neither one could do by themselves. Yeah. That's where you get high-level conversations. Right.
Earn your leisure, right?
Earn your leisure.
Okay. Yeah, just want to make
you
sure.
all have a platform that is, I would say, more mainstream, right? Mine, I would put it in more as independent thought, right? But together, it can't be denied, right? Together, we get people that from the streets, from the conscious culture, we get people that's from, you know, the corporate, right? We get people that's the entrepreneurs, we get people that's spiritual, we get the whole diaspora, right? So why would I want to do that by myself? No, I'm going to find people to where I can give you equity in what I'm doing, and we can have a larger piece. So the problem with a lot of people is you want to own 100% of something, right? That's not worth anything. But if you allow the right people in your business, develop the right relationships, and be like, listen, I'd rather own 50% of something that's worth $1 billion than 100% of something that's worth $1 million.
Right.
Right? The math is mathing.
Yeah, the math is
math. But a
math.
lot of people, we're so selfish because we never had anything. We feel like, number one, I need to be the only name that's on there. Right? That comes from trauma. We never had nothing. We want to seem special. I did it by myself. That comes from ego.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather brag about how we did it, because the hardest thing is working together with people, not doing it by yourself.
Right.
So I call that the we go.
We go.
Right. Wow.
That's good. That's good. Oh,
Wow. Wow.
Somebody taking notes, because I need notes after this.
Yeah, y'all take a note.
I'm gonna find you,
Okay.
'cause I need
record.
them.
You gonna
I
look
need
back
them.
at it later.
Whew, man, that's good. Summer, what you got? You got anything?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off of what you said, just like
We
building.
veggie back. We don't piggyback.
I'm sorry. But just to respond to what you said, I felt good today because I knew I was going to be interviewing today, and I also wanted to have my business here at a table set up. And I was like, I'm so used to doing this by myself. Like when I go out of town and go to these different pop-up shops, I be putting a lot on myself. Like I have to carry things, set up the table, take the payments. But it felt good today to finally have somebody to help me with that, and I want to continue to expand my business, grow, just get connected with like-minded individuals that see the vision that I'm trying to expand with my own business. And it hasn't been easy. Sometimes I even look at my business account and I'm like, wow, I don't want to spend the money, but I got to spend the money to grow,
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, what we got, like 7:30? Okay. All right, yeah, I want to talk about just some more business stuff, so maybe some like mechanical, technical business strategies. I feel like we're missing that a lot. I talk to a lot of people, they're just not getting the basics of, okay, how do I market? What do I need to think about marketing? What do I need to really start educating myself on as far as the strategies? You know what I mean? So I'd love for you to just kick your insight on that, and just to get some insight on basically the mindset of that. Like, what do you need to do, and what kind of mindset do you need to have to really start looking at this a different way? Because I feel like people are looking at it let me just go on TikTok and I'm gonna blow my business up real quick. I'm gonna make $1 million. I'm good. And it's like it's not really a strategy. You know what I mean? So it's like, help me out, brother.
Those are tactics, right? Tactics and strategy is completely different, right? And oftentimes, right, we got a society of clones, so everybody just copy what the next person is doing, right? And it may make you some money, but you can't go back and do that again, right? That's called fighting yesterday's war. You may need a completely different creative strategy today based on the time you're in now, the battle that's ahead of you right now, and the resources that you have. So for me, it's like with high-level conversations, each time we do it differently. I might take a different approach every single episode for our marketing strategy, right? And that's because I might have had a celebrity guest. The celebrity will be enough of the algorithm where people will be like, I'm interested in this conversation, I'm going to watch. Sometimes I might have to market it based on the topic, right? So now what we're talking about is going to be interesting because the elements that's coming together are going to be different. Right? So I'm never going to utilize, the same strategy each time, right? I'm doing myself a disservice, right? We just had an episode that dropped that was called The Cloning Process. And of course, it's a play on having a larger conversation about the culture and the movie that came out, Who Cloned Tyrone, right? And so I had dropped a picture of me and Sukihana where I took it at Revolt. They asked me to take a picture with it, and I took the picture. And I never thought I would actually publish the picture, but today it made sense because I spoke about something that she said in the episode. Now, if I just post a flyer, may get 1,000 likes or whatever. I post a picture with her in the carousel, gets 20,000 likes. Now it's creating a conversation, right? Which is exactly what we wanted to do, right? So strategy is when you take a step back and look at the playing field. The moment that you taking a pause and you taking, all right, what am I gonna do, right? What's the best way to go about moving? You're strategizing, right? You're planning, you're thinking about the next move, right? Then a grand strategy, right, is when you take a step back and you start looking at the history of something. You start getting into the root of it. That's a campaign, right? So when politicians they want to campaign, they come up with a slogan. They come up with a mission statement, right? They come up with a plan of operation. They come up with the team that's going to be working with them. They study the times, they study their polls, the statistics, they look at their analytics, they look at their data, and now they're making decisions from this informed place where this comes from war generals, right? But most people don't study war. Most people don't study generals, and this information was never readily available to society. But now we're in this time and age where anybody can study Sun Tzu, anybody can study Hannibal Barca, anybody can study Julius Caesar and all of those who are great military and war strategists. And you apply that in business because that thinking, right, allows you to look at the playing field different. It don't matter if you sell hair, it don't matter if you sell soap, it don't matter if you create content. Today, we don't need the hardest working people, we need the most creative people. The tools are going to work hard for you, right? We have artificial intelligence. That's going to work hard for you,
Perfect.
right? If you're an artist, you're never going to be able to outwork AI, right? But you may have an understanding to where you can utilize AI for all your clients, but now you can get more done than you ever would have because at first it was dependent upon what you can get done in a day.
Right.
Now it's dependent upon how creative you can utilize your mind to make these tools get things done for you. Right? That's a completely different strategy, and that's why I say understand where you are.
Yeah.
We're in a completely different age. So if your strategy is the same as last year, you haven't updated it. Because they're saying AI didn't exist. Right? Your strategy is the same as last year. We got completely new social media platforms. Even when it comes to finances. My brother Wall Street Trapper always talks about investing. And when he talks about investing, he says, yeah, when the story is the same, you can invest, right? So let's say when it comes to Apple, you put money in Apple. The story is everybody loves it, so people are going to put money into it. They just said that $10 billion went into their accounts, right, once they open that up. Now, they're coming out with counter stories saying that the iPhone sales have slumped. The story's starting to change. So do you continue to invest the same amount? No. Will you still take money and put it in the option to bet that that company is go up? No, when the story changes, you change. Yeah. So you can't operate in yesterday's strategy.
Yeah.
You have to fight the battle that's in front of you today.
That's good. That's really good. That's good.
So how is it that, because I know AI has been around for a very long time, but I've noticed like it's being more talked about within these last couple of months. Like, why is that? Why is everybody just now in our community talking about AI? Like, why is it just now like going viral?
Allen Iverson always been a coveted player, you know? Everybody always, he had the braids, his mom was on the sideline, braiding his hair. You know, he always just been one of those players, so I think people just love him.
Okay, all right.
Nah, I'm messing with you.
I know. I ain't catch it till like he was done. I'm like, what are you talking about? AI, I said, you might need to reword that.
There's a lot of AIs right now. You got artificial intelligence, artificial ingredients, artificial insemination, and then you got alien invasion, right? Everybody's talking about that as well. We are in a very interesting period, and this is something that I've been talking about for years, because I'm always trying to warn our people to understand where we are and when we are, right? And we are reaching this plateau, if you will. We're reaching this peak in, you know, human technological evolution, right? Where it surpasses us and we put it in the hands of the machine, right? No European or Caucasian, you know, dynasty has ever maintained past 500 years. So we're already in that mark where this civilization is supposed to end. So in that, there's desperation, right? What is the future? Because nobody knows. Nobody has a benchmark to say what happens after this, right? We see all of these countries fighting these currency wars, trying to vie for the power that America holds today. We see India having this huge economy and this huge shift to where their GDP is higher than ours. China is higher than ours, right? So it's very interesting, and you have to pay attention to the times. I went to go see that movie Oppenheimer. Great movie. But it was talking about when America became a superpower, right? And it's very interesting because America utilized, you know, this science and this technology to put themselves at the forefront. right? And now we're at this space where everybody already has, you know, these nuclear weapons, so it's mutually assured destruction. So that's not the thing that makes them the superpower. Now we have cryptocurrencies, right? Some people say Russia is the one who created Bitcoin, right? Countries and people can create their own currencies. And now we had technology where, you know, America was at the head of technology when it was coming out with 3G, and then China came with 5G. So now what we're witnessing is a technological war that's going on for the superpowerdom of the world, right? Who's going to be in that first place? And AI and quantum machines is right there in that race. Can America be at the lead? Because whoever sets the precedence, everybody else has to follow.
Yeah.
And if you have what they call quantum computers, then it's going to make it to a point where nobody's security can resist it. So it's a very dangerous period in time where we're witnessing, you know, the death of industries because of the technology, right? To where models are losing their jobs to AI models, and rappers are losing their jobs to AI voice clones, right? And this is why I've been trying to prepare people that, you know, AI plus NI equals EI, which is artificial intelligence plus natural intelligence equals enhanced intelligence. It works better if you're already smart, right? Because if you have the smartest people in the world working for you, right, what are you gonna tell them to do? Right? A dummy ain't gonna know what to tell them, right? But if you know your business, you know your stuff, and you like, thank you, I need you to do this, I need you to do the market, I need you to do branding. Not only can you tell them a general concept of what you need to do, you can tell them a detail, right? And then they can go and execute at the best way possible. That's what it is of having AI, right? So when you have people that already have money and power and intelligence, and you give everybody the same tool, that's not equal, right? Because you can't bridge a wage gap when the people that's rich have the same access to the tools as the people that's poor. They're gonna get better as you get better. The gap keeps on widening. This is why you have to be early on these innovative fronts, and it's still early because you can't just get in as a consumer, you have to get in as a builder and a producer. So I implore us to get in, use it in your businesses. Be cautious of it because yes, you know, tools of construction are used as tools of destruction as well, right? Just like the science that created the atom bomb was something that they could have utilized to give energy to the whole entire world, but instead they used that source to, you know, invoke fear and create weapons of mass destruction. So AI is one of those things as well, and you have to pay deep attention. Everybody should put in 10,000 hours to study it and to understand it, because not only even if you're not using it for your business, if it's a tool, if it's a weapon, you have to make sure it's not being used against you.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good. I think to segue that, man, just with crypto, I know you spoke about crypto. I guess we could talk all day about crypto. Oh, this crypto, this coin's gonna do this coin's gonna do that. But really, like, to really just segue in the mindset, like, what do people need to know in just a short form about crypto? Like, what
like
do
me, I don't know
utilization-
anything about crypto, but I definitely, with me expanding my funds and my revenue, I definitely want to invest, you know, and expand my funds in different areas. So, but I wouldn't know where to start with crypto. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there as well that may have the money to do it, but they just don't know where to start or what to or when to invest in.
Well, I think it's because it's called a currency that most people don't understand, right? Gold is no longer really used as a currency, right? So people are not, you know, walking around giving you a gold coin for your services, right? So I think the term currency really confuses people because people don't think about investing in the dollar, right? Even though you can, right? Through bonds and things of that nature. So when people hear currency, there's this blank of, why would I invest in it really, right? But when you understand it and its utility, and you understand it as like the same way gold is, right? Because blockchain or Bitcoin is digital gold. It's when, let's say, if the economy is unsure, money has to be moved, right? Because, and it's just to give you a breakdown. So we have money in the bank, and we know that the bank plays with our money. They take our money and they flip our money, and then they give us limited access to it, right? So that's basically, if you give me $100, I'm gonna take 90% of that and I'm gonna put it in the stock market. I might even go invest on Bitcoin. Bitcoin go up, I made money with your money. And now I'm charging you to do that, right? And now you like, yo, you got my 100 for me? And I'm like, come back a little later, I have it all for you. Can't even get all of it.
Can't get all of it.
So if somebody told you that personally, you would think that was a scam.
Right.
Right? You would be like, nah, I'm cool. That don't make no sense. Then we go to gold. You know, when we look at gold, gold historically has always went up, right? When FDR changed the gold standard, then he took everything off of gold, they confiscated people's gold. That's what most people don't know. There wasn't gold in circulation. You couldn't just own gold unless it was like an heirloom or some jewelry. But they took people's coins, and then after they took their coins, the price of gold went up. So they basically robbed people, right? But when you were allowed to buy gold and own gold again, you started seeing all of these shops pop up. We buy gold, right? Because they understood that people didn't know the value of it, right? And gold is a storehouse of value. It has what they call intrinsic value, meaning the price will never go down to zero, right? So therefore, a person say either I can have my money in dollars, and we know inflation is high, so let's say it's at 10%, and in some cases it's way higher than that because the cost of things are extreme right now, right? So that means that if I keep my money in dollars, the value of what it can purchase over time decreases. So if I'm a person with money and I'm making money, I don't want to just keep my money in dollars because a lot of people think in dollars instead of percentages. When you think in percentages, you start thinking of purchasing power by percentage. Is your net worth or your accumulatory purchasing power increasing by 10% or is it decreasing by 10% year over year? But you have to be in a space where you think in long term for this to even matter to you. Right? Same thing when it comes to investing. So if I'm owning gold, it's because I know that if I put my money in gold, if the economy goes down, the stocks goes to zero, the dollar goes down, the price of this should go up because more people are going to put their money in this because they believe that it's a safer asset. Right? So now Bitcoin is considered a more stabilized asset today where the big banks and the corporations and institutions are deciding to put money in gold because they want to diversify a portfolio. They'll put it in bonds. Bonds are basically insured money by the government. Right? They basically say that if you borrow from me, I'm guaranteed I'm gonna give you at least 1% to 2%, 6%, something that's gonna outpace whatever inflation is. And it's not a sexy investment, but it's guaranteed, which is why people invest in bonds. Right now, everything is unsure, right? BRICS, which is these nations coming together saying that they're gonna have a gold-backed currency, right? Gold should be way higher. Bitcoin should be way higher, but they manipulate it to keep the price down because they don't want it to just skyrocket. Why? Because they want to be able to get in at an entry price. They want you to sell it at high and then they buy it at low. So when it's time for them to push it up, now they keep all of the money. So right now, Bitcoin is known as the new digital gold, right? Because when times get scary and times are uncertain, people are now putting money in Bitcoin. And it's gotten to this point where the people that's been investing over the year, they don't never pull their money out. Right? So this is why you see the price stabilizing, right? And it don't fluctuate no more based on the news. Because there are people, no matter what's happening, they're not touching their Bitcoin money. Safe haven. Right? So therefore, the institution's like, okay, this seems like we should have this on our balance books. So they went from literally JP Morgan and them telling people this is a scam to saying that, oh, we actually believe in this. We believe it's gonna go to $1 million, right? So they play the game with the American people, and you have to understand the news is not your friend, right? When you see things that are in the news, that's to confuse the consumer. That's to fool you out your position.
Manipulation.
So, you know, understanding cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's Ethereum, right? Whether it's XRP, and there's an interesting one right now that seems very insidious. It's just WorldCoin, which is by the founder of OpenAI. So he's paying people to scan their eyeballs, right, and get their retina scan, and people are signing up in droves and lines right now, and it's been out for years, right, but you have to understand where we're going in society to understand why this. And so I just implore all you all, if you care about your future, if you care about your children's future, invest. If you don't invest. To me, it's that simple, right, because this might not be the currency for you, it may be the currency for them. Right? So it's like setting up a trust fund, right? You invest, you do dollar cost average, which means you put in the same amount every single month, and it averages out your investment price, and you just set it and you forget it. If you do that for the S&P 500, if you've done that for Bitcoin over the last 10 years, right, you'd be rich. So how long will you wait to say, I don't understand? What are you waiting for?
Wow.
Right? The world is changing. I'm not sure what more you need to see as far as change that makes your patience go to zero. Because I've seen enough things change to say I'm glad I got started.
That's
Definitely.
good. That's very good. That makes so much sense now. So I think we're gonna open up the floor to some question and answers. I know we got about
water.
10 minutes. 19, I think we got about 10 minutes,
15.
right?
Yeah, I got 19 minutes.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, we're gonna open up the floor to question and answer. So does anybody want to, I guess we're gonna just hand over the mic to anyone that wants to ask a question really quick. Anybody?
Don't be shy, y'all.
Don't
Got
come up all at
19
once.
keys out here.
Okay, we got one back there. How do y'all want to do this? Huh?
We need an audience mic.
Yeah, we need an audience mic or something. You want? Okay, cool.
Y'all feeling good? All right, get some energy in the room then.
Y'all looking bland.
Hello. Ooh, I'm loud. I'm from New York originally, so please forgive
Shout
me.
out New York.
Well, I just wanted to do a shameless plug and just say my name is Jamila Royal. I'm with Keller Williams, Greenville Upstate, and 19 Keys. If you're ever interested in building any type of real estate here in the Greenville area, you can shout me out, and I'll give you my business card when I go get some gold water. So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
You super dope.
Thank you. Hey, my name's Renee. My business is Renew with Renee, since we're doing a shameless plug out here. So question for 19 Keys, as far as like, because you were speaking on sugar and the effects of it being addictive and how we as a culture are emotionally connected to sugar because for the most part, we lack love in our life. Like, what does your particular like food regimen consist of? I am just curious. I don't feel like I've heard you speak on it. I know, you know, no pig, we veggie back out here, but just out of curiosity, do you want to share like what your food regimen consists of?
Yeah, I eat healthy. You know, it's funny because when I was in Africa, I gave myself a lot more leniency because the food was different out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was fresher foods. It's not the same hormones and antibiotics that we have in our foods. So I felt freer to just eat whatever I wanted to. In America, it's not the same, right? So, you know, for me, I'm working out right now. So I try to eat food that coincide with my training regimens. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might wake up and I might have some egg whites, right? Just because I want to get that protein. I can't drink protein shakes no matter if they're vegan, no matter what they are. I'm allergic to them for some reason, right? So, you know, for me, it's about how much I eat, right, and why I'm eating. Because sometimes I can go a day and just fast and not even think about food because I'm so busy working out. Or not working out, but so busy working. But I don't really have a very tight regimen when it comes to food. It's just what I don't eat more so, right? So, you know, for me, I understand my body. You know, if I was to feel like I'm accumulating too much mucus, then I know I'm eating too many things that's causing mucus, right? If I'm not having energy, I know I'm eating too much and I know I'm eating foods that's causing that. So for me, I really listen to my body when it tells me what to do and what not to do, especially as I have to travel around, right? But yeah, I don't eat meats like, I don't eat chicken, I don't eat beef, right? I don't eat pork, of course. I don't eat none of those things. Sometimes I may eat some branzino or some good salmon or something, you know, because I need to keep that protein on me, you know what I mean? For everybody is different. Veganism is not for everybody, right? Veganism is not even, you know, a real diet per se, but more so an idea. Because it's more so about whether people like animals or not, right? Or like, you know, the environment or not, so therefore they don't want to eat them. For me, I just eat based on what gives me energy and what gives me health, right? So I like berries, right? I like eating some greens. I like eating food that is going to build up those proteins within my body that have me some energy like a soldier, like a warrior. I want a warrior's diet. So I won't give you specifics as a regimen to follow, right? But that's why when I have conversations of like Surviving Vegan or the brother Yaki, right? Or, you know, if you study the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings or Dr. Sebi, or, you know, we just had on KT the Arts Degree, I'm always sitting and learning from them, right? And getting better, you know, advice on what to eat, because there's new herbs that I don't know about. There's all kind of substances that I don't know about. But I try to eat, you know, in the afternoon, and I try not to eat after 10, right? Because I understand the times that my body is actually processing that's good for me. So I know after 10, you know, that's when your actual muscle growth factor happens, right? So you need to get that sleep. So if I'm eating afterwards, right, then I know that my body doesn't have time to process that food. So I might wake up sluggish. I might wake up tired, right? I might wake up with my belly a little fatter. You know what I'm saying? It just depends. So yeah, I don't have a super tight regimen. I just focus on eating things that's actually healthy and being conscious and cognitive, right, of what I'm eating daily. Some people in the back here.
Yeah.
Well, it's a bunch of people.
Oh, we have one right here.
We got one right here.
One? Okay.
Hey, how you doing?
Blessings.
How you raise your conscience after decalcifying your pineal gland?
You say that one more time?
How you start raising your conscience after decalcifying your pineal gland?
How you start raising it afterwards?
Yeah.
Shit, sound like you raised it if you did all that. But, you know, stick to that regimen. You know, number one thing is your environment for me. You know, once you go through any process of awakening, if you will, and realization, you know, it's kind of like having a baby. You have to treat yourself like a baby, right? Because you're in this stage where you're sensitive to everything, right? And the environment that you're in is going to cultivate and continue to bring you up, or it's going to bring you down, right? And so for me, it does go into what I eat, who I'm around, what I ingest, right, from a mental level. So if I'm watching things that are low vibrational, and that means things that, you know, are fear, things that increase anxiety, things that increase stress, right, things that increase depression, that's not high level, right? So whether I'm around people who want to gossip, who only like entertainment, who only like BS, they not high level friends. If I'm watching content like that, that's not high level. If I'm listening to music like that, that's not high level. So it's simply just feeding yourself things, right, that keep you fearless, things that keep you joyful, things that keep you happy, right, things that keep you thinking, right? So for me, it's a very simple reality. But I think a lot of times we want both, right? We want the friend and we know that ain't shit, right? And then we want to be this high-level Buddha at the same time. And it's like you got to choose. You can't be a high-level ancient Buddha. Just saying. Just a note.
Hey there. So I'm a licensed broker and investment advisor. What should I be learning and making a priority to ensure my clients are making money inside and outside of the market? I want to make sure they're good now and in the future, especially since I focus on retirement planning. As a Black woman, I want to make sure I have a competitive edge against my older white counterparts.
Okay, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes as a simple, education is key. You know, I don't really have time to break down everything that you would need to know, but we spend a lot of money on a lot of things and not always on our mind, right? We spend money on food, we spend money on club, we spend money on clothes, right? But for some reason, we degrade our minds, right? And we don't take that same budget and say, okay, let me actually sit and learn stocks. All I need, it don't require you to become a master at it for the rest of your life. Like I just talked about dollar cost averaging. Anybody can do that, right? I'm around people who are into it, right? So Master Investor, Wall Street Trapper, Aristotle, Cheat Code, these are people that I have in my life, EYL. So I'm reminded that the things that you consume should be the things you own, right? You have an Apple phone, buy Apple stock. It's that simple. People here buy Gucci or Louis Vuitton, buy via LVMH, right? Own the things that you consume so that they're making you money as well, not just taking money from you. So now your lifestyle becomes an investment, right? So understanding, at least having a beginner's level knowledge of stocks and options is key. Having beginner level knowledge at least of real estate is key. Learning how to manage your net worth, which is, your assets minus your liability, your earned income minus your debt, right? How much do you owe? How much are you making? What do you have that's of value? If you own 1 Bitcoin, that $29,000 will go to your net worth, right? If you own gold, that ounce or kilo of gold, that's going to go to your net worth. But then if you have debt, you got $100,000 in student loan debt, now you have a negative net worth, right? So now people need to start calculating what their net worth is, what streams of income that you have, right? What are asset producing things that you can do consistently, right? And then, just having the knowledge of insurance and stocks and, business and all of those things should be in the wheelhouse of the everyday person, right? It shouldn't just be, Pound Town lyrics in your head. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get to a place where our habits are wealth. Because right now our habits is poverty.
Yes.
Right? And so that's a big difference when you have a habit of looking at the economy and looking at the news and having subscriptions to things that's constantly reminding you what's going on with the world. That's somebody who's conscious of their money, right? Somebody who's checking their credit score, somebody who's checking how much money they got in the bank and thinking about how I'm going to get more, somebody who's checking their stock portfolio to see how it's performing and why. If you don't have those habits, you're not going to produce those results.
Do you believe in the power of semen retention?
I like these questions. Very diverse. For everybody to hear, he said semen retention, right? So we went from finances to semen retention. It's a little leap. I wasn't ready for it. That's saving the good stuff. That's a different type of savings account that you keep. The thing about when men, right, I don't know if it's me children in here, but when men ejaculate and have sex, we have to reproduce that within our bodies. So men get tired after sex for a reason, right? So that energy, which is a life-producing energy, right? If you are able to keep that within the body, then you can use it for thinking. You can use it for manifestation, right? That same energy that produces life, right? That's the same energy. If you keep that life within you, you have that life-producing energy that can help you magnetize and birth things into reality, right? So I believe that that's key and very important, and it starts to give you self-control and discipline over yourself, right? And you're able to increase that energy and that what I call self-wealth, right? Self-wealth is different than we talk about materializing things outside of self. But developing the traits of confidence, learning how to speak, learning how to invest, right? Learning to become a leader, right? Learning to be more secure in who you are and passionate. These are also assets, right? Because if you don't have them, they become liabilities, right? So for me, it's the same thing with semen retention, or whether you're talking about being celibate, you're maintaining that energy within self and you're utilizing for selfish things, right? And when you talk about being selfish or self-full, right, then that means that I'm focused on the things that I know are going to be good for me. I'm not giving energy to anything that I know that's not good for me. So I'm keeping that in here so I can invest in things that actually produce results that I want to see and I want to have in my reality, right? That's living high level. So I only got one question for y'all, and I do this everywhere we go, right? I need y'all energy. I need y'all to stand up for me, please. I need energy in the room. It's a very simple question. Thank you. First of all, give yourselves and give these brothers and sisters that put together this beautiful event a round of applause.
Thank y'all. Oh, we do have a little small accessory to give you as well on behalf of Indoor Pro.
Thank you.
It's a little,
Thank you very much.
something.
So are we low level or are we high level?
We high level.
I need more energy. Are we low level or high level?
High level.
Are we low level or high level?
High level.
Are we low level or high level?
High level.
Well, let's live like it then. I appreciate y'all, Greenville.
Say this what happened when we link up. We start doing things they never knew we think of. Greatness is what we on the brink of. Throw your hands in the sky if you a dreamer. Keep dreaming. Say put your hands in the sky if you a dreamer. Throw your hands in the sky if you a dreamer.